name's Alina Tzvor, and that's my Instagram name. I'm a photographer in Chicago. I'm 25 years old. I was born in Eastern Europe in this little country called Belarus. I grew up there and moved to the United States when I was 11 years old. Then I grew up in Massachusetts for the rest of the time, and when I was picking out colleges, Chicago just appealed to me. I loved architecture and wanted to study architecture, so that's what brought me here, and I ended up picking photography over architecture and staying in the city after I graduated college. I was really into fashion photography, but with that, I just saw it as a way of making all these magical stories come alive through all the fashion clothes, and that's what got me more into like actual professional photography. But just like telling story through product or through clothes or through people. I think I'm more of a environmental portrait photographer, just finding cool environments and like telling a person's story through that environment. My favorite subject is people. I love portraits, and I think there's so much you can do with one person. You know, what I want to portray is a feeling, emotions, and I want people to relate those emotions. So actually recently I was flying to Miami, and I remember it was just the worst month ever. I wasn't happy, and on the way there I realized it was gonna rain for a couple of days, and I was like, perfect, like I'm gonna get a model and I want her to just be like broken and like in the rain, just kind of have rain and the model's emotion talk about how I feel. And it actually worked, because when I came back, I showed the photos to my friend, and he was just like, this looks like a really like tough time in someone's life. And he like identified with what I was feeling, but I like used the model to like show that. So I think it's kind of cool, because like, I mean, there's all kinds of emotions in the world, and you can portray that through other people and just kind of talk about how you feel. And yeah, I mainly just want to like push myself and kind of touch on subjects that maybe people aren't like talking about, or shoot stuff that people are not yet. Maybe it's like not a popular subject yet, but I want to try things. I try to bring a model, and I try to have something in mind. A lot of the stuff I am photographing is like, I'll tell the model what I'm going for, but it's like her job to interpret it as well. So there's a little bit of a plan, and a little bit of like playing with light, a little bit of playing with the circumstances and the backgrounds of the city. So it is more planned than just going out into nothing, but it's not as planned as in like, I don't tell her every single detail, I don't like, you know, move every single hair. So right now I use Nikon D800. I've always been a Nikon shooter just because that was the first camera I've ever like had my hands on, and accumulated all the lenses and all the gear, so it just kind of made sense to stay with Nikon and upgrade all the bodies. I like it. Ideally, I would want to shoot with a Sony. I've been getting a lot into video. So I think Sony is a good tool to have for videographers, photographers the same, but what you can do with video, and especially in low light, a lot of the stuff I do is really low light, really impressed me. So I think Sony is the next step, and even, you know, having my Nikon at one hand and then having a Sony for the other stuff, that would be good. I think I just always want to get better, and that's been my motivation for just continuing to grow in photography and continuing keeping up with everything. Also because I do this for a living, I always feel like I have to like keep up with what's going on and like still have a job, wake up and have a job tomorrow. So it's always like do better, be better. Just even personally for myself, I just want to always improve on, you know, my last shoot, my last, you know, job. Also, having all of your amazing creative friends kind of really helps you, because even sometimes just like kind of like a friendly competition, but drives you to be better and do cooler things. I kind of regret going to school, because I feel like I wasted a lot of time. I could have traveled, or I could have studied like business or something else instead. So I would tell my younger self not to go to school, just learn on my own. And then I would also tell myself to experiment a lot more, because I usually get stuck in phases like, oh, I'm gonna be a city photographer, and I'll just like shoot that for a couple of years, and then I'll look at my work and I'm like, but I don't even like this. Like, I should have just like done a little bit of everything. Sometimes it's just like take all the shots and then just figure it out later. Maybe you'll like something in the end. So that's another thing I would tell myself, because there's so many moments that I remember that I was like, why didn't I like take that shot? Or like, I would just be like, no, that's like not an epic shot, I'm not gonna take it, or like something like that. So I would tell myself to like get back to all those moments and try to shoot everything and just capture everything, learn from everything.